Do you still trust the numbers on your screen? Look at your bank account, look at your investments, look at your retirement fund. All of it is digital, a collection of bits and bytes, a promise backed by a system you can't physically touch. Now pause for 30 seconds and ask yourself a deeper question. If your government or central bank could not only print the money, but also program it dictating where you spend it and when you can access it, would your wealth still be truly yours? The terrifying truth is that we are living through the final, most ambitious stage of financial control in human history, one where the ancient weapon of money debasement is being reframed for a digital age. This is the battle for your financial soul, a battle between physical cash sovereignty and centralized digital code. And most people are about to lose before they even understand the rules. If you want to protect your future, you need to understand the pattern now. The journey to this purely digital prison began not with a computer, but with a piece of metal. For centuries, real wealth was anchored. Look at the history of the English-speaking world. The stability of the British pound sterling was once the anchor for global trade, trusted because it was tied to gold. But the absolute masterclass in currency stability, the example all modern systems failed to heed, was the Romang denarius. For over 200 years, it was nearly pure silver, the backbone of a mighty empire. The Roman citizen, the merchant in London, the farmer in Gaul, they trusted the coin because its value was inherent. It was cash in its purest form. But running an empire is expensive, and just like modern governments, Roman emperors were perpetually short on funds to finance wars and bureaucracy. They faced a choice: raise unpopular taxes or use the silent tax of debasement. They chose the trick. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, emperors began reducing the silver content, replacing it with cheap copper. By the mid-3rd century, a coin that was once 95% silver was less than 5%, a bronze disc with a silver wash on top. What was the result? Inflation exploded, savings evaporated, and the economy reverted to barter because nobody trusted the official money anymore. This was a classic wealth transfer. The state used worthless coins to pay its debts, and the common people paid the price in lost purchasing power. The lesson is undeniable. Whenever a central authority gains the power to manipulate the core medium of exchange, it will use it to transfer wealth upward and keep the majority dependent. That trick is now being replicated, not with base metals but with binary code. Stay with me because Part 2 reveals how the promise of convenience is hiding the most advanced trap ever devised. The shift from metal to paper, and the subsequent abandonment of the gold standard during World War I, was merely the beta test for financial control. In 1914, nations like Britain and France desperately needed funds for the war machine. When the costs surpassed what their gold reserves could back, they did the unthinkable. They quietly broke the gold anchor, effectively admitting that money was now just a promise backed by nothing more than faith in the state. This unshackled money from metal, allowing governments to print and borrow trillions without immediate consequence. This created the modern debt explosion, where global debt is now carried at levels no civilization has ever managed before. This entire system, a debt-fueled, centrally managed fiat currency regime, is now reaching its inevitable breaking point. The solution being engineered by central banks and governments. Right now is the final and most powerful trick, the central bank digital currency, or CBDC. This is the code side of the battle, and it is far more dangerous than simple paper money. A CBDC is not just a digital dollar. It is a programmable liability. Imagine this. The money you earn is not a token of exchange, but a line of code in a central ledger that the state can monitor, control, and manipulate in real time. This is not science fiction. It is the explicit design goal. Governments could potentially enforce negative interest rates directly on your balance, making your savings decay if you don't spend fast enough. They could instantly block transactions to certain political causes, organizations, or even products they deem undesirable. This is the complete and final death of financial privacy, where every single purchase, every single investment, and every single decision is logged, analyzed, and controlled by the very same central authorities who have already debased currencies for 2,000 years. The appeal of the CBDC is sold to the public as efficiency, convenience, and a way to track criminals. But the hidden function is total control. In a world of CBDCs, the ability to transact becomes a privilege, not a right. The battle is no longer about how much debt the government carries, but about who owns the flow of information about your wealth. The system that transfers wealth upward is being digitized, making it faster, more invisible, and infinitely more powerful. The old trick of debasement, where they put less silver in the coin, is replaced by a digital trap where they control what the coin can do, or, more accurately, what you can do with it. This is why the choice between cash or code is not a technological preference. It is a political and personal imperative for freedom. You must prepare for a future where your ability to transact may be conditional. But there is a way to build a fortress against this impending system. The great irony of the digital age is that the most advanced financial control mechanism, the programmable code, is forcing people back to the oldest form of wealth defense: the tangible, the decentralized, and the real. History's pattern, from ancient Rome to the hyperinflation of the 1920s in Europe, is always the same. When central trust collapses, only real things survive. When the denarius became worthless, Romans reverted to barter, valuing grain, land, and tangible assets that could not be debased or confiscated with a decree. When modern hyperinflations hit, those who survived were the ones who held assets that had value across borders and systems, things like gold, silver, or productive businesses. The real battle for wealth is fought on two fronts. First, in knowledge. Understanding that the most powerful entities, governments and central banks, exist to protect themselves, not you, and will always use the system as a tool to transfer wealth to their creditors. This knowledge is your shield. Second, in action. Restructuring your own balance sheet to minimize dependence on promises that can be digitally revoked or infinitely diluted. The survivors of every financial collapse in history were not the ones who trusted the most. They were the ones who doubted first. They were the ones who prioritized assets that hold value outside the central ledger, assets that are scarce, decentralized, and cannot be printed with a keystroke. The future of finance demands a radical re-evaluation of what you consider safe. Safety is not a bank balance backed by a political promise. Safety is resilience, ownership of real things, and the ability to operate outside the centralized code network. This is the only path to genuine financial freedom in a future where cash is criminalized and code is controlled. The question is no longer if the system will try to force you into this programmable code future, but when it will happen. And the moment it does, those who only hold digital promises will be trapped. Will you choose to be a passive victim of history's oldest trick, simply dressed in modern technology, or will you use this knowledge to build your real wealth defense before the final reset? The time to decide is right now. If you found this explanation vital to your survival in the coming financial shift, and you want to master the strategies to stay ahead, hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell. Share this video with everyone you know, because seeing the trap is the first, most crucial step to escaping it. The code is already being written. The battle has begun.